That's what my Prius sounded like.
Yeah, I'm gay.
15 seconds to launch. Places, please. 5 seconds.
Adjust your mojo.
You are about to participate in a great adventure.
Now.
At age, 60, he's just gonna break bad?
Radio with an attitude.
This system that we love is broken.
I know that.
Do not comply.
Hey, mother.
Welcome to another 2 hours of common sense.
That liberty and justice for all is a myth.
And erratic behavior.
You want to, but you can't. And when you do, you wish you didn't.
This is your Daily Mojo.
Well, I'm not going to say he's a miracle worker, but if in fact the story from the Associated Press is true, then President Donald Trump may well be a miracle worker.
Miracle.
He has ordered the Treasury to stop producing the penny. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I mean, if it that will be an absolute accomplishment if the President of the United States can actually get rid of the penny. Now costs almost 4 cents to mint.
I started to say he said 2 cents, and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that thing only costs 2 cents.
It's like 3.7 at this point. Almost 4 cents to mint a 1 cent coin. That is true. That's the United States government in a nutshell right there. The fans of the penny, again, this is the story from the AP. Fans of the penny. Are there really? I guess there are. Fans of the penny cite its usefulness in charity drives and relative bargain in production costs compared with the nickel, which... You know how much the nickel costs to mint?
25 cents.
14 cents. Almost 3 times its value. Why the hell are we making nickels? Trump's surprise order comes after decades of unsuccessful efforts to ditch the penny.
Be careful, you're making
Only
a case for
tradition
digital
explains-
currency, dude.
Well, I realize that. However, I don't think getting rid of the penny is going to usher in the
Golden age of America.
digital currency.
Well,
we'd be fine if you could get rid of the penny and the nickel, and we'd still be fine.
Well, then everything would be rounded up to the next 5 cents. You know who that would hurt? The poor.
uh-huh.
The poor would be out there in the food deserts, and they wouldn't have any food, all because you got rid of the nickel and the penny.
I don't know why he sounds like that, but he does.
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Can Trump really order the Treasury to stop minting pennies without congressional approval? What do you think?
It depends on where the Treasury Department falls. Do they fall in the executive branch under the Secretary of State?
It depends on what your definition of
Probably not. Secretary of
is,
State's USA.
is.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that it's possible that Joy Reid may have given us the best opening line for the day, just so you know.
Take a deep breath for just a moment and ponder big balls.
All right.
Let's think about that for a second, shall we?
Just take for a moment, ponder big balls, which, by the way, is now Elon Musk's X handle, big balls.
Oh, nice.
So, and Doge again.
Oh, no.
Excuse me.
His is
Doge.
hairy balls.
I'm sorry, hairy balls. You're right.
Yeah.
So I don't know who the hell Joy Reid was talking about.
Take a deep breath for just a moment and ponder big balls.
What you doing, Brad? Pondering?
Pondering.
I got you.
Readjusting. The Treasury, according to legal scholar Lawrence Tribe, the Carl M. Loeb University Professor of Constitutional Law Emeritus at Harvard University. Is it emeritus or emeritus?
I say emeritus. But then again, you correct me on template.
U.S. Code gives the Treasury Secretary the authority to mint and issue coins in amounts the Secretary decides are necessary to meet the needs of the United States. if Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent decides the amount necessary for the penny is zero, he's within his legal rights.
Okay.
And there have been other Treasury secretaries who have lamented their inability to get rid of the penny, which I think is strange. If it's the Treasury Secretary's job and authority to mint or not mint a coin, why the hell can't they just say, F it, we're not making the damn penny anymore? Coin collectors everywhere will be. And
You're a coin collector, aren't you?
No, I'm not a coin collector. I've never been a coin collector.
I thought you were.
My mom tried to get me to collect pennies. Why? Why would you collect pennies? For what? All because of the stupid ad in the back of a comic book that says
this penny's worth $50,000, and all you have to do is find it.
Have you ever known anybody to find a penny worth $50,000?
No.
No.
I know some penny collectors, but no, they didn't find the big.
Do they have any worth? Oh, yeah, let's say they have one that's really expensive, and that penny is worth $25.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoop-de-dingle. And if you want to collect coins, be my guest.
I think my wife has a whole bunch of books of pennies.
I will say collecting coins makes a whole lot more sense than collecting stamps.
Really?
That one I truly do not understand.
I never got into it either, but some of them are worth quite a bit. But again, it's like finding that one in a haystack, right?
But why are they worth that much? I mean, and
why is a banana taped to the wall worth $6 million? I don't know the answer to these.
And then the person ate it.
Weird questions. Yeah.
Right. But think about the. Who do you think started stamp collecting?
The U.S. Treasury. I mean, the U.S. Postal Service.
The Postal Service. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's who ended up making the money.
That's because there's a lot
collecting.
of time that goes into the art of some of those sometimes. And they make a big deal, so they got to pay for their marketing budget.
Because stamps are very, very, very important.
Of course.
Aren't they? I mean, if we stop making stamps tomorrow, the world would stop spinning.
The only stamps I've ever bought in the last, 12 years are stamps with a U.S. flag on them. That's it.
Aren't those the forever
stamps?
Yeah. I found cleaning out the Nelson Early Estate desk. I found stamps, a book of stamps. Were they 39 cents?
I remember when they were 35.
20. Yeah, they were 20 years old. And it's like, well, you're going to have to use 3 of these now to just mail one letter.
Yep.
And they keep changing it. Anyhow, unlike a lot of what the new administration has been doing pursuant to the flood of executive orders since January 20th, notice it was a flood of executive orders. If it's Trump, if it's Biden, not so much. This action seems to me entirely lawful and fully constitutional, according to Lawrence Tribe, again, referring to the aggressive executive action Trump's taken on the other issues since taking office. And let's not forget that they are all in a giant panic because, Trump is, according to them, overstepping his constitutional power, ignoring courts, and doing what he wants to. He's a tyrant when he does that. But I remember somebody else.
Supreme Court blocked me from relieving student debt, but they didn't stop me. So far, I've relieved student debt for nearly 5 million Americans. A significant number are black borrowers. So you can chase your dreams, start a family, buy your first home, start a business, and so much more.
Yeah. Back then that was just good. That was being a good president. Supreme Court blocked me, but they didn't stop me. I did it anyway. But if it's Trump, he's going to be a dictator. Congress dictates, speaking of, currency specifications like the size and metal content of coins. And they might, I guess it has to go still through Congress. I don't know, could make Trump's order permanent through law, but past congressional efforts to ditch the penny have failed. And You know the reason why?
No.
Somebody, somewhere along the line,
Making money on it?
is making bank off of a penny. I think the place is in Tennessee that supplies the zinc blanks for the mint. I want to say the zinc blanks for pennies produced. How do you spell produce? Produced where? Why do we always? You ever notice that? Do you when you type a question into Google, do you type it in as you would ask a person, like where are the zinc blanks, or do you?
Sometimes, I even add the question mark at the end. That's because AI. Because AI is built into that Google thing now. So I ask it like I'm
a regular question, right?
I ask it like I'm prompting.
I asked you, zinc blanks for pennies produced where? If I went up to a person and asked them that,
it would sound weird.
Zinc blanks for a penny produced where?
Yeah. Why don't I just ask? They are, I was right. Zinc blanks for pennies are produced in Greenville, Tennessee by Artisan, the only manufacturer of penny blanks in the United States. I'm thinking Artisan, Artazn, likely has
Shit
a vested
their
interest.
This last weekend.
Yes, right. Formerly known as Jardizan Zinc Products, has been in business for over 50 years. The largest producer of zinc products in North America. They do other stuff. They make stuff for cars, for architects, for building, for cathodic protection industries. If you have a cathodic that needs protecting, go to Artisan. They have been the U.S. government's exclusive supplier of penny blanks since 1982. Huh. Yeah, I'm thinking that they are. Artisan offers a variety of materials, including Zinc Secure. That's a registered trademark. That's a cost-effective solution for high-cost alloy coins and low-value notes. So they likely are not too thrilled with the news out of Washington. If you want to be a part of the program here today, the hashtag to use is what I learned today. And makes it a little easier for us to find your stuff out there. We're looking for your junk. This makes your junk easy to find. But what? I thought yesterday was Sunday, Missy13 says. You're spending too much time alone with the cats, Missy. Bugs Mom, Dogie needs to audit the U.S. Postal Service. Yup. Is that going to happen, though? I mean, that's on the list, I'm sure. Where are they right now? They just got done with the USAID.
Department of Education, right? Isn't that what they were moving to next? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Why and again, when Dogie was created, the mission statement was to make government more efficient through using the latest technology, etc., right? Which was a total bullshit statement. And we know that. I mean, I think we knew that going in, but again, Trump learned some things from last time and was like, you know what? We're just going to play the game the way they've been playing it, and we're going to tell you one thing, like we're going to annex Greenland.
Just to get them riled up.
Here, boy. Shoot. Yeah. Greenland, go get it. Look at them all run after Greenland. And then, meanwhile, back at home, but what they're doing is they're not just trying to make it efficient with putting computers in. They're going in there to try to dismantle all of these departments. And the Department of Education needs serious dismantleization. And see, you say that and people will, why do you hate the kids? Nope, that's not it. And y'all know it.
Yep.
John Greystoke, if he wants to be remembered for all time by both parties in a great way, stop daylight savings time. Or do we keep daylight? I always forget. I have to.
I would like to keep daylight savings. I would like to keep daylight savings and get rid of standard time. That's, for me, standard time makes it darker earlier.
That's right now. We're on standard
we're
time
in standard,
right now.
yeah.
Right. So, yeah, we want the other one.
Daylight savings, where it'll be daylight till like 9 p.m.
No. Okay. Don't show your Schadenfreude.
Okay.
It's not daylight savings time. It's daylight saving.
I got you.
Which
singular.
Is another total bullshit statement because it doesn't do anything.
Yep.
Who was it that said only the government could come up with a plan that by moving, you're adding an hour to a day? No, you're just
shifting the day. You're
shifting a chart is all you're doing. So if it's get rid of standard time and then that would put us on the correct time with like Arizona and isn't Hawaii doesn't do
Arizona time? Does not change. Yeah.
Ever.
No. And parts of Illinois doesn't, or I'm sorry, parts of Indiana doesn't. I think and Hawaii doesn't.
I remember this. It's like, yeah, it's so and parts of Indiana.
Yeah. My buddy lives in Tucson, and I don't know whether he's an hour behind me or 2 hours behind me on any given day.
The whole thing is just stupid. Okay, here we go. Brand new sponsor to the program. I did want to thank, who was it this morning that turned us on to them? It was Slightly Sane. Thank you for bringing us a brand new sponsor from an old company to the Daily MoJo.
Back to present ancient Chinese pantomime, just for fun of it, Jello Tonight. Back to present small Chinese type baby waiting for dessert. Chinese mother bling baby, Jello, famous Western delicacy. Poor Chinese baby. He unable to tell if this Jello is strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, lime, apple, black raspberry, black cherry, or grape. Jello come in all 10 flavors. Poor Chinese baby. But Chinese mother bling baby, great Western invention. Spoon. Spoon was invented for eating Jello. Baby find this is grape Jello. Deep, dark, delicious new flavor. Really? Chinese baby very happy.
Did we really invent the spoon?
Ancient Chinese pantomime is pretty good commercial, no?
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
The Daily MoJo.
You know, was that the Bud Light transgender commercial of the day?
Probably.
You didn't see Jello going out of business?
No.
No. Mm-mm. You know why? I don't know either.
I don't. Yeah.
It's just they could get away with it back then.
She blinged the baby.
And people were
bling.
Huh?
She blinged the baby Jello.
She blinged the baby, and the baby doesn't know if it's chili or strawberry. Doesn't know any of that. That's the worst part. Poor Chinese baby. And what's wrong with having a Chinese baby? The other thing that's happening in D.C. right now, while they're debating whether or not to get rid of the penny, although is that going to be a debate? I'm sure it will be. Somebody will bitch, moan, and complain that that we can't get rid again. And the arguments that I've heard so far are all about poor people. Because if you have poor people that can't have the penny, then of course you're not being fair to those poor people. Speaking of old people, in the meantime, this is John Larson.
God bless him.
He is a congressman. He's a representative from, where is he from? I don't even know. Does it matter? He's on the House floor, and he is mid-sentence as he's speechifying.
President Trump says that he's just going to ignore the courts because he believes that he's above the law, Mr. Speaker, that he's not accountable to anyone.
You mean like Biden, right? I mean, you're going to bring Biden up, right? that Biden was told by the Supreme Court that he couldn't forgive, but he didn't. You're going to surely you'll make that comparison, right?
And now he's saying that he's not even accountable to the courts because he and the billionaire class have gotten together and said, don't worry, no one on the Republican side in the House and Senate who control both the House and Senate is going to speak up.
And here we go.
And challenge us.
He's communicating with the mothership.
This poor guy.
Downloading.
Wow.
Downloading. I think what happened was the dial-up connection. Somebody else picked up the party line.
We need to protect Americans' privacy.
The good news is that all of his fellow representatives there in the House rushed to his aid as he was having some sort of a medical emergency. You can tell the panic on their faces as they rush to call 911 to get some sort of a medical team in there to respond to whatever the hell's happening with the reboot.
Their social security.
Yeah. Some are saying that this is what's called an absence
seizure.
Oh, seizure.
No.
You saw how he was licking, how his tongue was working the left side of his face?
Yes.
That's wild.
A petite mal seizure.
Seizure, yeah.
That's one. There's also something called an absence.
It's like it was like he was getting numb, and his tongue started shooting over there to make sure his face was still there, I guess.
Num.
Wow. Yeah.
Not that kind of numb?
No.
But again, it's fortunate for him that he has surrounded by colleagues who care about his health and well-being, and they are. You can tell. Just look at him; they are rushing to his aid.
All Americans. Social Security is the basis for their retirement and their retirement savings, and. For 28 million Americans, Social Security is the only thing that they have.
He's 76 years old.
Yeah.
How long's he been there?
I don't know. But for him to have been able to continue talking and at least making sense, that's wild. I mean... Usually,
he's looking like Droopy Dog on the left side of his face.
Is this what McConnell did? Is this same kind of thing what McConnell did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I mean, we've got an entire Congress full of able-bodied old white dudes ready to...
But isn't it true, though, that this same thing could happen at any age?
Sure. It's just weird that in Congress it happens to all the old people.
All the old white-headed people.
Yeah, I mean, we don't elect 12-year-olds to Congress, although sometimes they act like it.
Yeah.
But Mitch McConnell last week fell not once but twice.
Yeah.
They kind of kept that out of the papers, didn't they?
I only saw one of the two that was like, I saw it on X, videos of him stumbling up on stage.
And then they had to take him out in a wheelchair, I believe. Yeah, here we go. This is a slip
when
and fall.
McConnell was going down the stairs after leaving the Senate chamber and missed a step. After being helped up, he went on to a Republican policy lunch where he fell again. His spokesperson says lingering effects of polio are to blame.
Really?
Huh.
Really? They're going to dig into that. Okay. It's the lingering effects of polio. All righty then. Don't worry, it's nothing else. It wouldn't be, if it was that, they would tell us it's that. And Jeffy would be sure to let us know. But it's not that. It's the lingering effects of polio. And, oh yeah, you're as old as dirt. And yet you've somehow made a career out of being a representative, of the peeps there in Washington, D.C. It's just, am I right? Am I right or am I right? Of course I'm right. Let's see, Jaquando Master. Oh, nah, Bear, Jody, you're a trip. Oh, is Jaquando Master isn't he, is he the troll? I'm waiting for him to say something good. Come on, dude. Jaquando Master in the Rumble chat room. Let's see, but Missy 13 says Maxine was out there yesterday talking trash about Elon. Oh, that face. Ron, you want to get on Missy 13 for dissing your babe? Maxine?
No, I don't, because diss away.
You love Maxine.
No, I don't.
Oh, come on now. You pull her pigtails all the time. Over in the Daily MoJo chat room, we have Freedom Entrepreneur, Fake Zoe, Jolly Citizen, Fancy One. Pecan Pie 82 says term limits. Fake Zoe says it's lupus. Same thing I thought. Freebie Lep says, right. Was he, did he have the, we did not just out of thin air decide one day that we, as the American people, were going to decide, oh, let's assign some side effects to the, we were told by people who had suffered the side effects of that's what the issue was. We just paid attention. That's all. This is an interesting Sean Davis on the X. He posted regarding the court system and all these judges who are out there deciding whether or not, Trump is a dictator, etc. The Sean Davis X post is, random federal judges in blue state backwaters have no authority to unilaterally dictate who the president may talk to or what data he can access. And this is in regard to the Doge thing, because they're talking about all of the government waste that, Doge's getting in there and they're finding out where this money's going to, and the only thing that the judges in the machine can push back on is that, well, they're accessing sensitive personal data. That's what they're trying to say. Well, they can't do that because this is all sensitive personal stuff. John Roberts, and back to Sean Davis's piece, John Roberts and SCOTUS have two options here. They can bring these inferior malcontents to heel, or they can get used to the president simply ignoring these inferior courts or Congress eliminating them entirely. Do you know why the appellate court system was created and when it was created?
I do not.
I learned something today. So back in the day, in the 1800s, and I'm by no means a law scholar, a constitutional scholar, or any other scholar for that matter. However, I can look stuff up. So the Everts Act. It could be EFARTS. I don't know.
Yep.
It was the Everts Act of 1891. So apparently back in the 1800s, when it was just the Supreme Court handling all these appeals to lower court decisions, and throughout the 1800s, apparently the old Supreme Court is just getting buried under a bunch of cases, and they can't keep up because, people get litigious, especially as the more and more lawyers are born into the United States of America. So what Congress did was create the appellate court system so that it would ease the burden on the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So
just another stair step to get to them.
Well, it was to alleviate the load on the Supreme Court. That's what it was. Wasn't a stair step. It was okay, but I guess technically it would be a stair step.
Yeah, because if the person lost in the appellate court, they would take it to the Supreme Court.
I don't know if originally could they originally though? I don't know.
That's the thing.
It may be in the original. Anyway, Congress in the Judiciary Act of 1891. It wasn't that long ago, commonly known as the Everts Act, established 9 courts of appeals one for each judicial circuit at the time. The act created another judge position for each circuit, identified in the legislation as the circuit justice. Appeals from trial court decisions were heard by 3 judge panels made up of the circuit justice, a court of appeals judge, and a district court judge. The act recognized 9 circuits. Today, there are 12 circuits that hear appeals. The Everett Act established the structure of the appellate courts, 1 court of appeals in every circuit. Over time, Congress expanded the types of cases appellate courts could hear. They were the first federal courts designed exclusively to hear cases on appeal from trial courts. Creating the appellate courts in 1891 was an effort to relieve the Supreme Court's overwhelming caseload by dealing with the dramatic increase in federal appeals filings. And this also gave the appellate courts jurisdiction over most appeals. Gave the U.S. Court of Appeals jurisdiction over the great majority of appeals from trial court decisions. The act sharply limited the categories of cases that routinely could be appealed to the Supreme Court of the United States. The Judiciary Act of 1925 and later statutes continued that trend while expanding the jurisdiction of the U.S. Courts of Appeals. By the 1930s, the appellate court's jurisdiction included administrative appeals of decisions made by federal regulatory agencies. So it was a way, because the court system became overwhelmed because everybody got sue happy, I suppose. But that's where all of this came from. And again, I try to learn something new every day. I know, I'm sure that was a simplified version of it, but it comes from uscourts.gov, so you know it's official. So anyway, what Sean Davis is referring to is, I suppose, putting the onus on Chief Justice Roberts. Do you trust him yet?
I don't know, because you don't know where he lands. He's probably the one that
don't trust him.
You can never tell where he's going to go.
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can. You can. The worst possible decision to be made, and you can count on him to make it. But that's what Sean Davis is saying is, Supreme Court needs to step in and slap these little courts back. Because do they have any say? And again, this goes back to, we don't know, as the citizens of the United States, we have not been taught. We certainly don't teach it in schools anymore about how the whole system works, about how the whole court system works, the justice system, how it works.
Unless you take like a business law class or something.
Right. Oh, I couldn't wait to sign up for those. Whew. Right? Because nothing says sexy like business law. See, in retrospect, had I done that, I might be sitting in a wheelbarrow full of cash right now.
Maybe.
It could be like the OG Babalabala.
Yeah.
Sitting on a yacht somewhere, not worried about any of this crap.
Yep.
Because I'd done put in my work.
I had a friend from high school, man, my age, just became an attorney. Went and got his master's and then his JD, and I'm like, that's awesome. That is crazy. But, the world gets to a place where you go, I'm done. Time to figure out how to make it work. Now, he didn't become a politician, but he's an attorney. 60 years old.
And then, I'm just worried. I've been thinking I should learn how to play the piano.
Do you know it's harder to do that, to learn to play the piano or any instrument?
The older you get.
The older you get?
Yeah. You got to do it when your brain is still like Play-Doh.
I guess.
Otherwise, you get all your little synapses have fried themselves into place by now.
Yep.
You've done enough recreational drug use, enough alcohol, enough preservatives. You're a fossil. Fossils don't play the piano.
What do they say about old dogs?
You can't teach them new tricks.
Yeah.
Or can you? Speaking of Kanye quit X yesterday.
Well, damn
yesterday? I know, right? He said, what did he say? I'm done. Where was that?
Is Kanye no longer a Trump supporter? Just asking for a friend.
No, he's Kanye West dramatically quits X after the Super Bowl jab at Taylor Swift. Wasn't he
He was the one that ran
Kanye?
on stage talking about Beyonce.
Right.
Deserved this award. Yanked it
He
out
still
of her
doesn't
hand.
like Taylor Swift.
I guess.
You like seeing his wife naked in front of everybody at the Grammys.
That's a fact.
Meantime, in New York, again, I don't know how you consider this anything but graft. So the Roosevelt Hotel, do you know who owns the Roosevelt
I do
Hotel
not.
in Manhattan? The government of Pakistan.
Wait a minute. They're the ones that got all the money.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
So the government, our government, goes to the Roosevelt Hotel, the owners, who again are the Pakistani government, and pays them $220 million for, was it a 3-year lease? Yeah, it's a 3-year lease for the hotel so that they can put illegal immigrants in there, illegal aliens. And I mean, what do you mean graft? There's no corruption here. What are you talking about? $220 million goes to the Pakistani government, who, by the way, is like on the verge of bankruptcy, which technically is our government not bankrupt?
I would say they are, yes.
I mean, $37 trillion in the hole. I'm guessing the assets, I don't know if that's the way you do it in the government system, if you can, I suppose it is. I mean, an audit's an audit, right? What are your assets? What are your liabilities? Your liabilities are $37 trillion. You have $37 trillion in assets? Do we? I don't know. Anyway. So the Pakistan government, who is on the verge of bankruptcy, was bailed out essentially by the United States government to the tune of $220 million. And never mind the fact that the United States government is on the verge of bankruptcy as well. And this is what's happening behind the scenes. It's a 3-year term lease. The hotel will be returned to the government of Pakistan after the lease expires. Before this, the hotel was sitting vacant since 2020, since, the government effed up the entire world's economy. Intentionally, some might say. Or through ineptitude and, what's the other word? Inept and, when you're not very good at something. What's that other word? You know, Ron. A lot of people say that about, not you. What's the word?
Lack of aptitude? I don't know, dude. I'm just trying to figure out. There are people screaming the word at you right now.
I know they are, but I can't hear them. So it really doesn't matter. What in the hell is the word?
Let's see. I have some text messages. Nope. Kanye's last post was, "I'm a Nazi," before he left X.
Some would say he's self-destructive. I don't know. DMXDM over on the X says, I wouldn't trust the Supreme Court to slap down any other court. Judges, like doctors, rarely criticize other judges. True. To critique the quality of one may bring forth questioning of the entire brotherhood. Yep. Why don't sharks eat attorneys? Ron?
I do not know, Brad. Why do sharks not eat attorneys?
Professional courtesy.
Gotcha.
Why do lawyers wear neckties?
I don't know, Brad. Why do lawyers not wear neckties? Or why do they wear neckties? Sorry.
Let's try this again. Ron, why do lawyers wear neckties?
I don't know, Brad. Why do lawyers wear neckties?
Keeps the foreskin from slipping up over their head. Deuce 5 says, I trust a proctologist that has porn music playing in their exam room more than I trust John Roberts.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, by the way, Deuce 5, did we get a ruling on Deuce 5, from Deuce 5 on the Jell-O commercial from 1958?
I haven't seen it come through yet. Yeah.
All right, we're going to have to, he is our official arbiter of all things Asian, so we'll get that as soon as he delivers it to us. And I found some clickbait, but we won't play that yet because I sat through the entire, almost sat through 4 minutes and 33 seconds of it, of watching a woman clean a toilet.
Great.
And did you know you could make cotton candy in a dryer?
I did not.
I didn't either, but
please tell me how to do it.
We'll do that on the Daily Mojo. Coming up.
This is Phil Bell on the Daily Mojo with your morning update. I had an interesting thought the other day while I was watching far left kooks and rhinos melt down about Doge. You know, all those hearings that we've seen for years and years and years where members of the U.S. House or the Senate decide that they're going to interrogate some witness. They get together in a room. They have lots of people there. They look down and they snort and they say they want answers, answers, answers. Well, after they don't get answers, what happens? Everything goes back to normal. And this is what is called oversight. And the thing is, it's not just Democrats that do this, it's Republicans too. And quite frankly, it really makes me angry as Doge uncovers more and more evil from the federal government. For all these years that we've been electing people to Congress, where has the actual oversight been? And why has there been no true attempt at it over this time? Why is it that we are working our tails off, whether it is volunteering, donating, or sticking our necks out on social media to elect people to the House and the Senate, only to have them actually ignore the people's business for so long? Thank God for Elon Musk, for Doge, and of course President Trump for finally standing up to this beast, which is not only the unelected officials, who are of course a major problem, but also the elected officials who have failed to do their jobs. So, what I want you to do, and I say this every day, I want you to leave a comment under this video and talk about what you are doing to keep your government in line. But I also want you to think about how important that is. Because if the elected officials that we have been sending to the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate haven't been doing the job, then we absolutely have to step up and fill the void. What I also want you to do is download the Daily Mojo smartphone app and enable notifications. That way you'll be up to date on the latest craziness and good stuff coming out of Washington, D.C., and you'll know how to share it with others. We'll see you down the line, and thanks for choosing the Daily Mojo.
Phil Bell's Morning Update is only on the Daily Mojo.com. The Daily Mojo.
It is the Daily Mojo for today. This is the 11th day of February. It's a Tuesday, year of our Lord 2025. Checking over in the, hold on a second. I have to wait until this thing is done here. And then I can hit pause on that. And then I can say over in the Rumble chat room, not my dog says dead animal in the road or a lawyer. Oh, the difference. What's the difference between a dead animal in the road or a dead lawyer in the road?
What's the difference, Brad?
The dead animal will have skid marks in front of it. Hey! Now, that's just not right. That is not. I know some very, very kind, good attorneys. Good.
They just never worked for you? Is that what you're saying?
No, and do you really want a kind? No, you want a pit bull when you hire an attorney. You just don't want to be cross-examined by a pit bull. Because, well, did you watch the OJ documentary? Was it American Justice or whatever on Netflix? So they have the newest OJ rundown, and Mark Furman is featured prominently in it.
Of course he is. Wasn't he? He was a police officer, right?
Yeah,
he wasn't FBI. Okay,
he was a detective,
yeah.
and They pinned it. I mean, Mark Furman did not do himself any favors, but I don't know. I mean, you have to watch and decide if Furman was anyway. Watch you watch the attorneys and the attorneys' interaction with people on the stand in the OJ case, and there's no doubt that the case was mishandled by the L.A. Court system. The district attorneys were they were outmanned. No question about it. Missy 13 because they don't care about us, generally speaking. Bastards, dastardo, bitches, bichos, any of those words, Bard. No, incompetence.
There you go. Popped right into your head, didn't it? Yeah.
Eventually your brain gets around to it. It's
the older you get.
It's like you have the old chip.
Yep.
You're still working on like the old Microsoft.
We have our 1200 baud modem. It's just kicking along.
Right. And it's sometimes it doesn't do a full reboot like Dingle Nuts there on the house floor, but it does, partially.
I haven't said the word baud in about 30 years. Just saying.
Neither is anybody else.
By the way, we did get the Asian approval.
And, we did. He did approve it.
He says, I hereby approve all the discussion of the Jell-O commercial from 1958. Sorry about the delay on that. I'm Asian, so I was busy doing math.
Maths is hard.
Yeah.
You want to know how to clean a toilet?
Yeah, I do. What?
This was on.
Next, we're going to take some Coke, and it's got to be regular Coke, not diet.
All right. I want to show you the headline. Here's the headline on the video on Facebook. I can't believe all the bugs came running.
Oh, right? Yeah. That's clickbait. Got to be. Let's see.
Now you tell me.
Right on the ice. Right on the ice.
So
you're going to circular momentum. You get it all covered. And you're going to have a little bit of...
Look, I'm of the opinion that if I'm going to put my Coca-Cola in the toilet, it's going to run through my body first. I'm just saying.
Coke.
You don't drink that stuff.
I do not drink Coke. Correct.
Yeah.
Now we're coming in.
So she's saying you put ice in your toilet. This is to clean it. You put ice in your toilet. Then you put a 2-liter bottle of Coke, regular Coca-Cola.
Is she making a party bowl?
Coca-Cola.
What is this?
No, this is cleaning your toilet. Then you put this Miracle Grow, a scoop of Miracle Grow plant food on top of the ice and the Coca-Cola that you've already poured into your toilet bowl. Then you
take fabric softener, and it can be any scent that you like. I just really like
this is such horse shit, dude.
It doesn't matter, but I have.
Okay, but wait until the bugs come running out.
She's pouring
you're missing the point.
I get you, but she's pouring that whole. You know how much it cost her to clean this toilet so far? About $30.
If you get a really clean toilet,
through your toilet.
I mean,
actually, that.
All right, so after you've poured in the entire container of fabric softener, then
some mouthwash.
You take mouthwash.
Use the green or blue, but the spearmint is what I have found to work.
Right, the spearmint works best. If you take spearmint and pour that over the ice,
melt the rest of that plant food. You can barely see any of that plant food left. That's all going down.
All right. So remember, I can't believe the bugs came running out. Then you take Ajax, vinegar, and lime.
We're at $60 so far. Here we go.
The key here. So when you mix vinegar and dish soap, it's so.
This isn't going to be pretty, is it?
The best part about using dish soap is you have this fountain spray, so you can get all the way.
All right, and then.
And viruses. We're also targeting that mold, and
that's Lysol.
That comes along with
the spritzer container of Lysol.
You watched this whole video looking for bugs, didn't you?
This one actually has a smell
maybe.
To it, so it's really.
So after you spritz in the Lysol, then
lastly we're going to come in with this spray Lysol, and
$100 to clean your toilet.
This is going to help eliminate.
Let's just get rid of everything that's in the cabinet. We don't want any of it.
What's a clean toilet worth to you?
Clean out.
I mean, if you have a...
There it is. Right on him.
There's the bug.
Go around the
one bug
of the toilet, so we're going to give it a spray of that. scrubber. And you're going to
then you take the scrubber
into the toilet. And you're moving in the counterclockwise.
And you continue to swish and
look at it.
Right?
She said you have to go counterclockwise.
Final step here is we want to keep.
Well, yeah, if you want it to clean the right way.
Flush. Oh, and here it's going. Look at how clean this toilet is, and with just one more flush, all of that residue will be gone. But I mean, come on, look at it shining.
All right, so
wow,
it would have been cheaper to buy a new toilet.
Yep,
according to Neil Brink. I could be wrong, but I don't think I have bugs in my toilets. Probably some bacteria. All those different chemicals. I'm surprised there wasn't some sort of an explosion.
Yeah. Dude, I'll be honest with you.
Expensive way to clean a toilet.
If my toilet sees that scrub brush in plain toilet water, it's lucky. Much to Misty's chagrin, but hey,
there are ways to, just. But some people will actually believe that and will, continue to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To believe it. This is the same woman. I should have told you to watch the other woman's fingernails, because someone referenced in this the environment will die because of all the chemicals. Those chemicals are going to eventually go into the ground anyway. Actually, it's probably a better idea for them to go into the toilet and then through the sewage treatment plant than it would be otherwise. So I should have said watch her fingernails, because
weren't they like
when
real
someone
pointed
said,
and white?
Have you not seen the woman who makes cotton candy in her dryer?
Oh.
I'm like, wait, a woman made cotton candy in her dryer? And it's the same woman with the same fingernails.
Now we're going to stick it back in.
You pour sugar into the dryer.
It's so good. Oh my God.
Oh, I've seen her all over the place.
Tammy Louise, how in the hell does putting sugar in your dryer? Notice she's in a laundromat.
Really healthy amount like that, because when it spins, just take some blue soda.
Okay.
All right.
Blue soda.
Right that right here. You can do it in any dryer. Just wrap it in foil.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're going to stick it back in.
Yeah.
Right here.
Okay.
And of all the settings that I've tried, I have found the Steam Fresh to be the very, very best.
Open it.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Stop it
Okay,
first.
stop it.
And
Yeah.
it's hot, yeah.
I want to see all of it.
Do you know what that's going to do to a dryer if you pour sugar into the dryer and then pour? I guess that was a full test Sunkist blue, whatever it was, with sugar. Why put a diet drink? If you're going to put a pound of sugar in your dryer, why not just use a full sugar?
Might as well.
Soda.
Yeah.
Right? Don't puss out on me now. That can't possibly work, number one, can it?
And there's the question. There's the question that makes everybody go get sugar and grape soda and pour it in their dryer. That can't work, right?
Do you know how much it's going to cost to...
Dude, I'd get divorced if I poured a whole thing of sugar in my dryer.
Well, she didn't do it in her laundry room. She went to a laundromat.
Yeah.
Which, if I was the owner of that laundromat and I figured out who she was, and be sending her a bill for the damn dryer.
She makes more money because she's all over the place. I've seen her all over the place, and she makes more money on YouTube. She probably bought that dryer and said, "Hey, I'm going to put this in here and do this thing." And look, that's a Mr. Beast kind of thing. These people, all they're doing is looking for clicks so they can make money. I get it. But people believe that shit, unfortunately.
It worked.
I guess.
How many TikTok followers does she have? Was it Tammy Louise on TikTok? She has... no, it just showed me everything with Tammy Louise in it. I don't see her per se. Tammy Louise, make your day. Maybe that's it. Nah, that's probably.
That's not her.
That's not her.
The thing about their
But she probably
videos,
has millions of followers.
There's her and another guy that have done videos together for so long. And the thing about their videos is they are extremely long videos to get to no conclusion. That's the thing. And apparently they make more money the longer you watch their video. So they just keep doing it. It's like pouring shit into a toilet thinking it's going to work. But they got you. I mean, you watched that whole damn video looking for bugs.
I did it so that I could show. I did it so no one else would have to.
Yeah. Okay.
Missy 13
Jason
Bart
says, by watching this crap, Brad is contributing to the delinquency of these YouTubers.
Missy 13 says, Bart, I have this weird feeling Furman did that on purpose. Seems the police wanted him free.
Oh, maybe.
Do you remember what Mark Furman did? What they accused him of doing?
I don't remember.
They accused him of planting the second bloody glove.
Okay.
I
thought it had something to do with the gloves, but I couldn't remember.
Right. There was a glove found at
the house,
Nicole's
right?
Condo or whatever it was. And then they go over to talk to OJ, but he's not home, apparently. But Kato Kalin's home. They go to talk to Kato Kalin. Kato Kalin had heard some knocking on his wall and thought it was an earthquake. And Furman goes, really, an earth? And says, I wonder what's back there where you heard the thumping on the wall. Walks back around the little bungalow, has his flashlight, goes, oh, there's a glove on the ground. Do I think he planted the glove? No, I don't think he planted the glove. We all know OJ did it, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that ship has sailed. But no, I don't think. I think it was complete incompetence, and I think that Johnny Cochran and F. Lee Bailey, I think they ran a genius defense. All they had to do was plant a little seed of doubt, and Furman certainly helped them with his previous actions.
I mean, if you're anybody that remembers that time, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. That was the thing.
Genius slogan.
It was genius.
Marketing won the case.
And who's going to put on rubber gloves and then try to put on a blood-soaked glove and it fit? That's not going to happen. So that worked to his advantage. Yes.
Chris Darden, to this day, he says, he's like, I probably screwed that up. And why would you have somebody do that and you haven't tried it? You had to know, like you just said, you had to know that it wasn't going to work. I mean, if you had a brain. But they did it anyway. It's just like not using your brain and not going to preparewithmojo50.com and getting your emergency food supply and your tools for when the fit hits the shan out there. It's going to hit it. Eventually. Things are going to go south. Are going to be emergencies. You're going to need the tools and the emergency food to get you through whatever catastrophe, natural, man-made. If you knew this or not, but human beings are pretty good at making disasters left and right. But if you go to preparewithmojo50.com right now, the big deal is you get the 3-month emergency food supply kit for $250 off. That's like saving $250 when you buy the 3-month emergency food kit, isn't it? Just like that, because that's what it is. See what I did there?
I do.
That's a genius slogan right there. Just like if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. This is next level stuff. You should be taking notes if you're not. The website is preparewithmojo50.com. The emergency, well, who the hell knows when that's going to happen? That's why they call them emergencies. Surprise emergencies. Go to preparewithmojo50.com today.
Stupidity is not a politician.
I've now been in 50.
Unless you're a politician.
7 states. I think 1 left to go.
The Daily MoJo. The Daily MoJo.
If you have not yet downloaded the Daily MoJo smartphone app, please do so. It's just a good idea to have that on your phone because you will be the first to know when things, exciting things like, me being on WBAP.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Will happen.
That was yesterday. Yeah. How'd it go?
It was fine.
Good.
I mean,
by the way, I didn't get my damn
and...
tubes tied. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Oh, did you opt out of the surgery?
I opted out. Thank you.
Well, good for you. I mean, we were rooting for you. I mean, we wanted you to come through okay. Let's see, freebie 38. Ron has been moonlighting as a Disney dwarf in the new Snow White movie. I'd recognize that wonky eye anywhere.
Look, I'm a little touchy about the wonky eye today, so be careful.
I told you to wear an eye patch.
I'm not wearing an eye patch, dude.
Why?
It's a sty. It is a sty.
No one wants to see your sty. Nobody. Let me stop you right. Nobody wants to see it. That's why we wear eye patches.
I know.
That's where blind people wear dark sunglasses so you don't see the eyes going.
I was telling Brad about my painful sty yesterday, and he goes, "Which eye was it in?" I went, "My wonky eye." Thank you for asking.
You could have worn dark sunglasses today and saved everybody the pain, but no.
You know what? If I lift my eyelid, it's a whole new world around here.
Nope, not looking. Our poor Ron will do a lot for a little bit of money. Maybe Disney stole Ron's likeness and he could sue. If he doesn't sue, that means he's working for Disney.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Courtney. She wants me to scold her. Don't know if you ever heard of James Lindsay. But she sent me a link to a video. Okay, I will take a look at that. Let's just start about my message about nicotine. I didn't get off track. Did I? By the way, Tether will always be right around $1 because it's where you transfer your crypto into U.S. dollars. Oh. See, again, this person works at the at DHS, Department of Homeland Security. So we kind of get, the inside scoop. Sorry, I've been in chat bunch, been dealing with the flu. I hope you're better, Deb. Stay away from coughing, sneezing people. And Jamie sent one just between mountain climbers' wife shows supers does wife shows supers does. I don't know what that means. This feels like a coded message. The monkey plays at midnight. Meanwhile, over at the Department of Defense, the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, has directed the military to pause integrating new transgender recruits and suspend planned medical procedures meant to treat current service members diagnosed with gender dysphoria in compliance with an executive order signed by President Trump that effectively bans trans military service. This a good thing or a bad thing? If you're trans, should you be allowed to get out there and fight on the battlefield? According to Pete Hegseth, quote, the department must ensure it is building one force without subgroups defined by anything other than ability or mission adherence. The purpose of armies is to kill people and break things.
Well,
that's it.
Look, the big thing coming out of that so far is that they're not releasing any current transgenders in the military. They're not going to allow you to have any surgery. They're not going to pay for it. They're not going to do anything toward that, but they're not kicking them out.
Should we be paying for transgender surgeries?
In my opinion, no, but we never should have.
I agree. I mean, that is a choice, is it not? I understand
look,
gender dysphoria.
And my guess is if they do decide to release them from the military, they're going to give them a medical discharge. It's like if you have asthma and they didn't discover it beforehand, before they got you
right.
in, when they release you, it's going to be a medical discharge with disability, period.
It's always been this way in the armed forces, has it not? If you went in and if you were crippled, you had a bum leg.
And they didn't catch it during the in-processing. That's the thing. Yeah. Sometimes they'll keep you, sometimes they won't.
I mean, I guess if there's a desk job somewhere, but if you want to fight, if you want to be out there on the battlefield, and
it's no secret. Not everybody who joins the military wants to be in combat. They're looking for a job, or they were forced to, to sign up or whatever. But no, I mean, and he makes a statement that says, "Look, the people who have gender dysphoria now, they all volunteered to serve their country. We're not going to pay for any more surgeries, but there's no reason they can't stay in."
That seems fair.
Seems fair. Yeah.
What would be the difference in you go in as just your standard original factory female, let's say, and you decide you want a boob job when you're in basic training? Does the Army pay for a boob job?
Not in basic training.
I wouldn't think so.
They don't do squat in basic training. Let me just go there.
Or wherever, whatever. Yeah. You're moving up the ranks and you decide you want a boob job. They don't pay for that.
Ultimately, it depends on whether government insurance, because ultimately that's kind of a look. If you're a government asset, so to speak, all of your hospitalizations, all that stuff, that's free to you for being a government employee or military member. But elective surgeries like that, no, I don't think they should. It's not the best health care in the world. I'm just going to go on a limb and say that.
It should be.
It should be. But it's not.
People in the armed forces should have the best insurance.
Yeah.
However, for health insurance, that's where you start getting off into the weeds.
Yeah.
Best health insurance, is that not going to cover gender dysphoria?
Well, what you get when you're a military member versus what you get when you're a veteran are two different things. Veterans health care is where things tend to fall apart.
Walter Reed, did you see the images out of the flooding and all that?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Hope Hegseth Covers gets that taken care of.
He did change the name back to Fort Bragg yesterday. I saw that. Fort Leonard or whatever it was.
Yeah.
They changed it to changed it back to Fort Bragg.
They also changed Denali back to Mount McKinley.
Yeah.
I know it's not military, but it was Denali first.
We used to have,
then it became Mount McKinley. Then it went back to Denali. Now it's back to McKinley.
We used to have Fort Hood here in Killeen, Texas.
Yeah.
And it was Fort Hood since inception, as far as I know. But now it's Fort Cavazos, and I don't know if they're going to change it back or not.
And again, those are the things. In the end, at this point in time, is that our biggest concern? No. And I think those, again, could be the red herrings that are, hey, boy.
Well, he's trying to show progress, no matter what it is. Change.
Look, the pennies.
Yeah.
The pennies. Getting rid of the pennies. That's progress.
Yeah.
This story was brought to my attention by Beaver.
This is
yesterday.
Crazy. This is absolutely crazy, if true.
There is a criminal complaint that has been filed by a quote-unquote whistleblower by the name of Hadassah Feinberg on February 7th. Essentially accusing Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro of being involved in the assassination attempt of now President Trump.
In Butler, PA.
That was a year ago. In Butler, Pennsylvania, in July. The complaint also alleges the involvement of ex-FBI Director Christopher Wray and the Biden administration. There are people out there who are calling this person a whack job. Now, I guess that's absolutely possible. There is, however, we do have images of the complaint over on X. The account is OSINT Warfare at OSINT Warfare. They have they've published the private criminal complaint with the affidavit. Again, could this Hadassah Feinberg be a whack job? Yeah, absolutely. Is it really? Gulf of America is now on Google Maps?
Yeah. If you go to Google Maps and pull it up, it's there. Thanks, John. Yeah, he reminded me of it. I went and looked yesterday. It's not on Apple Maps yet, but it is on Google Maps.
Did we official? Is it officially renamed?
I didn't know that it was
America?
official. I didn't know that it was official. But then he signs that EO going across the Gulf of America in Air Force One going to New Orleans to the Super Bowl. And I'm like, wow, wait a minute. What?
Again, this is a fabulous. Hey, boy, get it. Woo.
Yep.
Go get it. Chase it. I don't give a shit what you call it. Call it whatever you want to call it. I don't care what they call Mount McKinley. I don't care what they call the Gulf of America or Mexico. I don't care if he says we're going to acquire Greenland. I doubt we're going to acquire Greenland. I care that we're stopping the waste in government. And if this is their genius idea to keep, and how stupid must the press be to be chasing that stuff?
Well, he put that, what did he do? Put a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum this weekend? Holy cow.
Which people should be. Is it going to hurt? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you want steel production back in the United States or don't you?
Look, if that's the way to get it back in the U.S., yeah, it's going to sting for a little bit.
None of this stuff is going to be easy to do.
It's not a secret that my family, one of my family members, works for a U.S. affiliate of a Chinese company. So, yeah, it's hurting a little bit. So,
it's going to hurt. But again, it's how do you get business back in the United States? How do you get manufacturing to come back to the United States? You make it more expensive to import those things from other countries.
Correct.
It's not rocket science. It's going to hurt. We're not going to get always low prices always at Walmart.
Well, and that's what the Democrats are bitching about, is that it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt the lower income people because now they have to pay more for stuff.
Yep.
But you know what? We'll get millions of more jobs in America for those lower income people who do want to go to work, because there are a few who do not. Just like to suck the teat of America.
That's a good word, isn't it?
Teat.
Teat. It just feels right.
I'm with Beth, the Gulf of Buckies. I'm with her.
That's fine too. I don't care. I don't care what you call it. You know who's going to love the name change? Unnecessary plastic object manufacturers who do logos on coffee mugs and T-shirts and beach towels.
Yep.
They are going to capitalism, baby.
Yep.
Start printing out that
Tons
stuff. You're going to make a
out there already.
killing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's so good for them. Does it matter to me? Nope, not even a little bit. So this whole assassination thing. If this is true,
it is a real complaint filed.
Yes,
But the Democrats are losing their minds over this. Anybody can file a complaint.
Yeah, absolutely. They sure can. They absolutely can. But is this true? I don't. What? Matthew Crooks, the room temperature assassin on top of that building in Butler, Pennsylvania, who we were treated to the picture of him with his head leaking within 2 hours.
Oh yeah,
of the attempt.
It was quick.
I've never seen a picture of a dead guy come out on in so quickly. Usually it takes forever. But we were assured he was deader than $900 on the roof of that. I mean,
he
it
was on
like,
the roof, literally. Yeah.
Whoever took that picture was standing right next to him.
And immediately posted it on X or wherever the hell we got it.
Uh-huh. So, I'm in receipt of your price. This is from the Richard, I wanted to call him Goldfinger. Goldfinger. Ha, ha, ha. But it's Richard Goldinger. He missed an opportunity there. He's the DA of Butler County. And I'm assuming that it's Hadassah Feinberg is the name that's been redacted underneath the Sharpie there. I'm in receipt of your private criminal complaint, which you filed against Governor Joshua Shapiro for his alleged involvement in the attempted homicide of former President Donald J. Trump, July 13th, Butler County. Please be advised there are multiple investigations currently being conducted by various government agencies. Due to these pending investigations, I am disapproving your private criminal complaint. So they are not going to...
They're not going to follow up.
What's the word? Yeah. Entertain.
Yeah.
The criminal complaint, which isn't surprising. The people in the responses to this particular post on X, Audrey Sal says, this lady is a nut job. She has a grudge against Josh Shapiro, the state of Pennsylvania, for a case that happened in 23. If you Google her, you'll see she's filed multiple cases against Shapiro and a slew of other PA government employees for various things. Why so much attention to this one?
Did we not get the attention for this one until after Trump said, I want the Secret Service to release all information about my assassination attempts? That's when this came out.
That was last week.
Yeah.
And this was...
over the weekend.
18th. February 7th. Yeah. Today's the 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th. Friday. It was filed Friday. So, I don't know. I mean, assassinations these days seem to be big news. If that goes anywhere, well,
speaking of assassinations, yeah, they're big news. And apparently... bigger news with JFK's come out recently, too.
Okay, but the thing is, what is it really that they're telling us with JFK?
What was it that they said? Supposedly 14,000 documents that the FBI didn't realize were there for all these years have now been found in the basement somewhere underneath the stack of Penthouse magazines.
2,400
documents.
What? FBI discovers 2,400 new JFK files linked to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Trump issued the executive order days after returning to office, demanding all records related to the assassination of JFK be released. Now, federal investigators have uncovered a raft of previously undisclosed files that were never provided to a review board set up in the 1990s, tasked with going through all the documents relative to the case. The records, the contents of which are yet unknown, form part of a 14,000-page bundle compiled by the FBI following Mr. Trump's executive order. Order also called for the release of all records relating to the death of Kennedy's brother, RFK, and Martin Luther King Jr. The review board was set up in 92. Government agencies were required to submit all evidence related to the assassination of Kennedy, and I'm sure they did. I'm sure the government agencies were fastidious in their collection of files, no matter how small, seemingly irrelevant, possibly top secret. I'm sure that they gathered all of those files into one box or series of boxes and gave them to the committee. Don't you agree? Why would they I mean, why would they try to obfuscate or hide any evidence of a conspiracy to kill the president? Don't we all want to know? Don't the people within the government of the United States want to know what really happened to John F. Kennedy that day when the magic bullet appeared on the stretcher? What a guy who really wasn't that great a shot pulled off some amazing shots out of a sixth-story window at the most inopportune time during the travel of the presidential motorcade. Even having the best shot in the world as the motorcade is coming directly at him, and yet waiting until it is driving away from him, and then miraculously being able to rack that gun enough times that he was able to take out the president and strangely have his head fly backward. Weird. The existence of the new records, first reported by Axios, was made on Friday. They did it on Friday document dump. Its efforts to disclose the remaining redacted evidence relating to the 1963 assassination. Are we going to know anything more once they release these papers?
The chances are no.
Because I have my doubts.
Yeah.
I have my doubts. I mean, there might be something that makes us go, well, you know, this email, or we may find a random text or two from 1963. Did they subpoena all of the cell phone records from 63?
Good question.
I don't think they did. He said it's another reason why you will never get a consensus on this case, because no one will ever agree that all of the information has been released. I tend to agree with Gerald Leo Posner, the author who specializes on the assassination of JFK. You know who else was a big JFK assassination investigator? Richard Belzer.
Oh, from Sha-na-na?
That's Bowser.
Bowser. Oh, damn it. Richard Belzer, the actor.
Belzer. Yes.
Yeah.
The dead actor.
Yeah. What was he in? He was in L.A. Law or something.
Procedure.
Yeah.
No. He was in Law and Order.
Law and Order.
Yeah.
I knew who Belzer was. Come on. Let me play the bit through.
Who, after leaving Sha-na-na, Bowser did go on to become the mayor of Washington, D.C. So it's actually it's a success story wrapped in a mystery when you get right down to it. A beautiful story it is. But do I think we'll ever get the full story on JFK? I think we already know what the story is. We're waiting for something
different
to come along with a piece of paper that's,
everybody wants shocking. They want their conspiracies to be
grassy knoll
validated.
Dude fires his gun. Then dude in the sewer fired his gun.
Yep.
And this is how it all happened.
Or the driver shot him in the head. Remember that?
See, the driver didn't shoot him in the head because we would have seen the driver turn around.
Everybody, there's video out there right now that shows the driver turn back and look at him, and everybody's like, look at his hand.
After he got shot.
Yeah.
I mean, and why is it only the Magruder?
Magruder.
Not Magruder.
Zapruder. Zapruder. You're welcome.
Him too. Why only the MacGyver film was released? No one else had a video camera that day? A film camera?
Not. I don't know.
Come on. And that wasn't released for like 10 years.
Yeah. That was didn't Geraldo help get that released? I think Geraldo's the first one that played it on the air.
I think you're right.
In the 70s, yeah.
I think you're right. No. We'll get into much more in the Daily Mojo, including what you may have thought was a viral meme and a myth. Yeah. Coming up next on the Daily Mojo.
Where political correctness comes times to die. The Daily Mojo.
Missy 13 in the Rumble chat room. Great way to ruin your dryer. Admit it, though. You want to try to make the cotton candy in the dryer. See, damn it, Beaver, cheap shit means you have more shit.
If you're my wife.
Right? Original Babe, it's obvious in the video that the driver turned around and shot him.
See?
Why do you think his wife crawled further to the back of the car to get away from the driver? No, she turned around and crawled to grab the chunk of his head.
That's what the story is.
Onto the,
She went to the back to grab a chunk of his brain or skull or whatever.
Where was his brain? Behind him.
Yep.
So, Bugs Mom says, my hubs has always been bothered by the Kennedy shooting. Why was there no media? A president coming to town is big time news. There was media,
but we don't see the Zapruder film's really the only one we ever see about the headshot.
Well, they didn't have cameras on every corner because that was 1963.
Yeah.
Television cameras were still black and white, were they not? Yeah. The news was in black and white.
I think so, yeah.
They had cameras, but those things, the broadcast cameras were huge. They were like the size of cars back then. So they may have had, what we always forget, he was going somewhere. Where was he going? Anybody remember? I'm acting like I remember.
Kennedy was going somewhere, you said?
Yeah. He wasn't just driving down the street. He was headed someplace. You don't think about that, do you? So naturally, I typed into Google, JFK was headed where when he got killed? Why didn't I just say, where was he going? He was headed to a luncheon speech at the Dallas Trade Mart.
I do remember that now. Yeah.
So
and that was that wasn't the original route though, from what I understand. Anyhow, yeah, there have been a lot of movies.
It wasn't.
What was the movie JFK that Costner did back in the day?
Oliver Stone, which they all said.
Yeah,
remember now they looking back, they all called Oliver Stone a whack job.
Yeah.
And why did they call him a whack job? For the same reason they're calling Elon a whack job and Trump a whack job, because they got too close to the truth. People also ask, what were JFK's last words before he died? Sorry. Why does this feel like a joke?
It does feel like a joke.
It does.
Because we don't know. He was in the damn car.
What does this button do? Give me a light. Bud Light. What were his last words before he died? I'm going to click on it. I'll be damned. I had no idea that's what he said.
Is he talking to Connolly? What is it?
That's crazy. Anyway, so he was going to the Dallas.
You ass. What did he say?
As JFK waved to the cheering crowds, which were lining both sides of the street, she asked, who is she?
Maybe his wife? Did
she
asked
asked
him a question?
Well, she's not going to say Mr. President.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't think, unless they had some weird kinky thing going on, which I don't think they did, because that's what Maryland was for. Mr. President, they can't make you believe now that there are not some in Dallas who love you and appreciate you, can they? To which he replied, no, they sure can't. Ta-da! Huh. He was on a 5-stop tour of Texas. Dallas was stop number 4. So.
Yeah, because he had been in either San Antonio or Houston, and then in Fort Worth.
On a Reddit forum, what if JFK had moved his head in the right moment, like Trump?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's okay. The other guy on the grassy knoll would have taken
him down. Yep.
They had. You don't. Well, all right. Hang on. Look at Butler. Did they have multiple assassins there?
We don't know.
No, we don't. I mean, it seems like if you were going to take out a president, I mean, in Trump's case, it was just a candidate at that point. But if you were going to take out a president, wouldn't you have multiple people in place? Especially in 1963. Because this has never been done before, right? I mean, they were ready to kill a president of the United. Well, no, and that had been Then you go back to Lincoln, and there was somebody in between Lincoln and Kennedy who got assassinated, wasn't there? Who was another how many presidents assassinated? Good grief! How many presidents assassinated? 4. I'll be damned. Did I know that? Who are the 4?
Well, because I'm looking at it right now.
Who are the attempted? I had no idea that the.
I only know. Well, let's see. Reagan was attempted. Theodore Roosevelt was attempted. Donald Trump was attempted. Andrew Jackson, William Howard Taft, Ford.
McKinley?
I remember. Well, yeah, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford. Those were attempted, but the ones taken out were Lincoln,
4
Garfield.
presidents have been assassinated.
McKinley, Kennedy. Yeah.
What was the first one?
Lincoln, and then Garfield, and then McKinley, and then Kennedy.
They're old hat at this. How'd they miss Trump?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, government program. Attempts have thus been made now on the lives of 1 of every 5 American presidents.
What? Yeah.
This is according to archives.gov. 1 of every 9 presidents has been killed. Since 1865, there have been attempts on the lives of 1 of every 4 presidents, and the successful assassination of 1 of every 5. During the last 3 decades, 3 attacks were made.
Those numbers would sound more significant if we hadn't just had 47 office holders. That's the thing. I mean, when you talk about 4 presidents have been assassinated, that's one out of every 9.
That's 10%.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I mean, you got a 10% shot at being assassinated. Is that right?
Could you do your job like Trump does, knowing there are so many people out there to kill you?
No one. I never really thought about that before. Have you? I mean, that's kind of weird. 10% of presidents have been.
I mean, you know this going into the job, obviously, but how do you not let it always be on your mind? I don't know.
But you have to,
especially if you're going against the deep state, especially if you're going against this number of people.
Which is what Kennedy. That's what Kennedy was doing. He was threatening the CIA, going to break them into 1,000 little pieces.
1,000 little pieces.
The FBI. I mean, he was threatening the establishment, and RFK was threatening. Well, both he and JFK were threatening the mob. Because the whole idea was they were going to get the mob support.
Him and RFK.
Yeah, JFK, RFK.
Yeah,
they were both
threatening the mob.
As attorneys. They and I think their dad was like, "Hey, I've rounded up support for the mob, but y'all need to cut them some slack." And apparently, RFK and JFK were both men of honor and fortitude and integrity, weirdly enough. And they're like, no, we're taking down.
So some of the new stuff that's come out supposedly is the JFK hit memo, Operation Execute, which, I mean, and some of this stuff goes into great detail. This story I sent Brad this morning that has been circulating over the last couple of days about the JFK documents that were found. JFK knew he was going to get killed. He said it. It all comes back to the deep state when it comes right down to it, dude. The CIA, Hell, they even had multiple Lee Harvey Oswald lookalikes so that they could create the story that he was where they wanted him to be when they wanted him to be there.
Right.
It's just
people to see him. And
it just
have
feeds into the
witnesses to see him.
Yeah.
And I just, in that thing that you sent me from Jenny Grant's post,
Yeah.
newly discovered Fed's JFK hit memo, what I was just talking about.
Yep.
You know, the memo that says, here's what we in, signed FBI lead. One of the most damning documents unearthed in the latest declassification dump is a previously uninformed memo from the Federal Reserve from 1963, a report labeled Directive Alpha, which outlines the economic destabilization risks as JFK's pursuit of a sovereign currency free of central bank control. The document was sent to key agents within Wall Street and the CIA, warning that failure to limit the situation could lead to an irreversible change of U.S. monetary control. Weeks later, JFK was room temperature.
Yeah.
The memo was kept in a classified section of the National Archives, completely forbidden even for researchers working under the JFK Records Act. Now we know why. Not surprising, because humans will do dastardly things, to quote a senator.
And if you haven't if you haven't watched that in the last 8 to 10 years of humans doing dastardly things, I mean, I'm kind of embarrassed about at least two of the representatives from Texas, because they're dumbasses. One of them is that brand new, I can't remember her name. She's a congresswoman from Texas, black chick. What's her name? Crockett. Good Lord.
Jasmine Crockett. She's a sharp cookie. Don't underestimate her.
Whatever, dude.
She is not a dummy.
She might not be a dummy.
Just telling you.
But you talk about stirring up shit. Her and Maxine Waters and
didn't say she wasn't a shit.
Chuck Schumer, Elizabeth Warren, Adam Schiff, all of those people.
Yes. They're good at it. Speaking of dastardly.
And still I rise, Mr. Speaker.
There is another Texas. Right?
And I rise today, Mr. Speaker, with a to whom it may concern message. To whom it may concern, ethnic cleansing in Gaza is not a joke, especially when it emanates from the President of the United States, the most powerful person in the world, when he has the ability to perfect what he says. Ethnic cleansing in Gaza is no joke, and the Prime Minister of Israel should be ashamed, knowing the history of his people, to stand there and allow such things to be said. Ethnic cleansing has been a crime against humanity. And I stand here today in the well to denounce what was said, to denounce what the president said, to denounce the complicity of the Prime Minister of Israel, and to remind people that Dr. King was right. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Funny how they bring that out at the most opportune times for themselves.
With his cane in hand. That was funny.
Yeah, he has, I don't know if he gets to it here with the dastardly
deeds.
There we go. Yeah. And every time he said that, I wanted to say done dirt cheap. Hold on.
I rise to announce that the movement to impeach the president has begun.
There we go.
I rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds
done dirt cheap.
Proposed and dastardly deeds done.
Done dirt cheap.
I also rise to say that the impeachment movement is going to be a grass up movement.
It's going to be grass up.
Grass
as
up.
Opposed to grass down.
Grassroots?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to be grassroots, whatever it is. When we come back, and I can't remember, and I meant this morning to go back and look at last week's discussion. Hopefully, Dane Andros will remember. We'll talk with him in just a second on the Daily Mojo.
Daily Mojo.
And when I said in just a second, I wasn't kidding. Was I?
No.
Verily, I say unto thee, let there be a moment, let there be a second, and there was. And it was good. Yet I don't have the thing to play, so just...
oh, you don't have the thing, the Dan thing?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't have the thing because so shoot me. Which, by the way, those were not JFK's last words.
So
just
shoot
so
me.
you know,
Okay.
Dan Andros from. Well, but they weren't. At least we don't think so. From FaithWire, also from CBN News. Hi, Dan.
Hello. How's it going, guys?
How's your governor?
Talk about
how's your
something?
governor doing? Yes. Do you remember what it was?
No.
I think I do. And I meant this morning when I got up, I was like, you know what? I need to go back and look at our discussion from last week because there was something I said. It had to do with Trump, and I think it was. Do you think he's learned some lessons? Was that? I think that's what it was.
Oh.
Do you think he's learned some lessons? Right?
I don't think he can help himself.
ring
I mean,
any
if
bells?
we're talking about like, sorry, I'm just trying to adjust my volume here so I can actually hear. If we're talking about like, because I actually truly believe, I was talking with a friend about this, that he could have, if he played his cards right, I think, and like things go well with the economy and everything else, he could have a super high approval rating, like across the board. Like only hardcore leftist Democrats would still hate him, right? Like all the people in the middle would go towards him. But I don't think Trump can help himself.
What do you consider super high?
I don't know what the highest of all time is. Like 70s, maybe. I'm talking like. I mean, these days, anything over 50 is high.
I think he's at 54, 53, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty high.
His approval
I'm talking
ratings are higher than in his first term now.
Right, but that's comparing against himself. I mean, I'm talking about like who's had the highest. Let's see.
Dwight Eisenhower, 65%. John Kennedy, the aforementioned dead guy, 70%.
Right, like that's what I'm talking about, right? Like where everyone, basically, when you're at 70%, basically everybody likes you.
Reagan only had 52.8%. And his average approval rating was 52.8%. H.W. Bush, 60.9%. Bill Clinton, 55%. These are Gallup numbers.
So I'm talking like in the upper end of that, right? Like I think... Right. No, but I'm saying he could be towards the 70% range if he played his cards right. But this is why it'll never happen, though, because he cannot resist throwing the red meat. Like for example, at the Super Bowl, he gets a really loud cheer, right? That's a huge win for him. 100 gazillion people watching. The crowd cheers when it comes to him. If that's a boo. That's a big moment, right? Like, but it's not. It's a cheer, and a very audible one and a very clear one. I'm sure there were some boos in there, but they got drowned out, right? Then Taylor Swift gets booed, which I was also told by a friend was kind of more like a jokey boo by Eagles fans, not like a serious boo. But anyway, so he goes on.
I would know
if he hadn't said anything about it. It would have been left there, but Trump can't help himself.
Right.
You're right.
Like, it was a huge win. He got the win, but then he doubles down and he's a jerk about it. Like, and that's funny to his red meat, like to his hardcore audience that loves him already. They love it, laugh, but it doesn't help you with the winnable people, right? And so those are the moments I'm talking about where he doesn't have to do it. Like, there's literally no reason for him to do that at this point. Like, he's not. Unless he tries to run again, he's not running again, right? This is his last term. Like, what's he doing? Like, what? Why? Like, try to go out as like the most popular president of all time, like because he's doing things I think people will like. So I don't understand why he has to do it. I can understand calling out the press, like because they're idiots half the time. I think that's fine. People hate the press, so that's one where you can go in on and be like, see, I think that's a terrible question. Like I have no problem with him needling the press. It's those sorts of moments that I think he kind of gets in his own way sometimes on that, which is frustrating because I really do think he could be one of the more popular.
Are you
presidents of
defending
all time.
Taylor Swift's honor?
No. I don't care about Taylor Swift.
It sounds like you
I'm
are.
saying Trump.
It sounds like you're defending her honor.
No, I'm telling Trump to stop being a goof.
Huh? It just sounds to me like you're defending Taylor Swift's honor. And that, you know what? That's admirable. I will defend Taylor Swift's honor. I wouldn't boot her. I like Taylor Swift.
Well, it makes no sense for Eagles fans to listen. Hold on a minute. It makes no sense for Eagles fans to boo her. She's dating Travis Kelce, yes. This is why they boot her, because she's wearing a Chiefs shirt, right? But Travis Kelce's brother is Jason Kelce, so he's like a legendary Eagle who just retired. He's friendly with her. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to boo, other than she's wearing a Chiefs shirt. That's it. So that's why I'm saying I was told it was from within the audience, from people who are in the know on Eagles fans, and when it's a serious boo of anger and hate versus just you're wearing a Chiefs shirt, so we're booing you because we boo Santa Claus.
It's hard to hard to tell in an NFL stadium, because back in the day when the Titans first got to Tennessee and they became the Titans, and Bruce not Bruce Williams, Bruce was a lineman, and when he would come out, everyone would yell Bruce, and it sounded like they were booing him.
Oh, right. Yeah,
it's hard to tell what anybody's saying in an NFL. So what's Bruce's last name is, I can't remember, but someone will tell me. But, and I've seen accounts where people were saying the entire stadium was booing Taylor Swift, which again is, there's no reason to boo her. Other than she came out against him. And what was it that he said? MAGA is very unforgiving, which I actually took issue with, because I think MAGA is forgiving, quite frankly.
Well, and again, like that. There's another one. Like, why would you do that? Why would you say it? I don't.
But is there anything he could do to make you think? Is there anything he could do to make you think that he does not have the level of bombacity, if that's a word, that he used to have? Because to me, I think he's toned it down considerably. I mean, he made a comment on a pop culture event at the Super Bowl. Bruce Matthews, thank you.
He put a side by. Okay. Hold on. This is the president of the United States. He posted a side-by-side picture of him getting cheered and Taylor Swift getting booed. I mean, that is like middle school level stuff. Come on.
He cannot help himself. I'm telling you.
He can't. He can't do it. And I'm just saying, he got the win.
You don't think he's taking it down a notch? You don't think he's taking it down a notch from what it used to be?
No.
I used to think he did take it down a notch, but I don't think so.
I think he's taking it down a notch.
No, where he's ramping it up is the whole. I mean, he's going on, and like by the way, I love this, because I bought a Gulf of America T-shirt, which I'll wear as soon as it gets here. But so I think it's funny, but like he's certainly not toning it down. I mean, he's saying he's going to buy and develop Gaza, and he's going to buy all these things. But as far as like the personal jabs and things, like I don't know that he's toned it down. I don't know. I mean,
he's a personal jab. Taylor Swift is hardly a person. Is hardly a private citizen. I mean, Taylor Swift, the icon.
No, I'm not. She's not
put
private,
herself
but like,
out there.
But that's not what I'm saying. Like, why engage in the tit for tat? Like, why do it? Like, it just. I mean, he's like he called Gavin Newsom.
We prefer the term
Gavin Newscum. Here. Like,
yes,
he's still doing
that's
the names.
Because Gavin Newsom is scummy.
He is, but let Gavin Newsom hang himself. Trump doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to do it. And he can just create, like, here's what I'll tell you. This is what I want to see. When Trump went to California and he was in that meeting and he was just like, I got to be honest with you, these people can't wait. That was gold. That was gold. It was not personal. It was just him telling it like it is, right to their face. That to me is the kind of thing, like, what's better, that moment in that thing where he's saying, listen, we got to just get this done. These people are waiting. Is that better? Or him going, oh, the mayor is a dope. What a moron this mayor is. Like, it doesn't work to just name call as well with the general population. I guarantee you the average person who maybe doesn't even like Trump that much, when they saw him standing up for those people who can't get in there because the stupid government's in their way with dumb restrictions and they can't go in and clean up their own. I guarantee you everybody agreed with that. I guarantee it. and they can totally get with that because he's not sitting there just slinging names like that. That to me is where he should lean into because he's good at that stuff. Like just lean into that. Just avoid the pettiness. Avoid the petty. It's just not necessary. He can get the big wins without it. But he doesn't care though. Like he just doesn't care.
Mr. President, are you going to allow Prince Harry to stay in the U.S.? Yeah, I'm not going to bother him. I'm not going to bother him. His wife's already too. His wife.
Revoke his visa? No. His passport? No. He's got enough problems with his wife. She's awful.
She's nasty. He didn't have to say it, but a lot of people were like, yes, that kind of shit.
To be fair. Now, is he using this as a political tool, though? Does he realize that the press will take off, run after these things? Because I think that's what Greenland was. I think that probably was what Gaza was, the Gulf of America. That was the, here, throwing the bone out there.
Canada,
and all the
51st
mainstream
state.
media runs after it. Meanwhile, he's over here getting rid of the penny and doing all this stuff.
For sure. I don't think, I think
he's just dangling shit in front of the Democrats just to get them to get out there and do what they're doing.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I think his tactic is, I think, effective in a couple ways. One, it's like an Overton window situation, right? He just threatens, I'm gonna buy up Gaza and develop it. All right, hey. And everyone's like, whoa, and then like, what? So then you've moved the window over to the conversation way over to here. Like, whoa, that's something we hadn't considered before. And then wherever it lands, it's going to be like, woo, we avoided owning Gaza there. That wasn't a very, very America firsty, but like, I think there's a lot of, with him, it's like, you just don't pay attention too much to what he's throwing out there. It's more just what does he actually do? Because it's also, it's like people believe that he's just crazy enough that he just might do it. And so like, it's effective. Like we're seeing that with the tariffs, right? Like we talked about, I'm not a huge fan of the tariffs, but like if he's using it as a negotiating tactic and it gets them to stand down and start sending their planes, well, good.
Well, and Ron, grab that because Gaza-Lago could be a very marketable vacation destination. Just saying. But, the tariffs, there are incredible tariffs now, on Chinese steel? Didn't he put is it 25% on Chinese steel?
Yeah.
Or was it, Ron? You said it earlier. Chinese.
It was 25% tariff on steel and aluminum, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see a country designation, but I might have just missed that.
Chinese steel and aluminum products up to 25%. According to New York Times, China is at the heart of Trump tariffs on steel and aluminum, or as they say across the pond, aluminium. So, but doesn't this make American steel look much more attractive to purchase for people in this country making stuff out of steel? I guess
time will tell.
That's the goal behind it, right? To create more of a demand for American products and American services, but jobs.
Yeah, right? I don't know. You still got the unions and everything else. So, there's a reason why they were going over to China in the first place to get it.
I got you.
No. I'm just
trying to get my mouse to work, Brad. You know how this mouse thing happens to you? It happened to me just now. Sorry.
Listen, I'm not your.
But anyway, I share your.
I'm not the economy
expert
thing, here. I'm just
Neither am I.
We'll
Neither am I. I agree.
I would think that the short-term effect is going to be because there's a reason why people go over to China or elsewhere to get things like steel or whatever. It's because it's cheaper, because it's expensive to do it here in America. It's because of our stupid unions and everything else. So if you just make theirs more expensive, now we just have expensive steel on both ends of the side. So now the prices go up.
So instead, we should institute wage controls for union members. That would make the price of steel go down. I just tossed that one out there. I don't know diddly squat about that stuff either. I'm with you. I'm more about
No,
if he's going to call
didn't hear
Rosie
what you said,
O'Donnell
but
a
yeah,
fat pig. Oh, to institute wage controls on union members, steel workers.
I just would
we
get
need to
rid
cut
of
them back to minimum
get rid of
wage.
unions.
So
no, I mean, no, but I mean, look, just free trade. Like
that would be good.
If America, like what I mean, where I'd like to see the pressure is for America to figure out how to make things cheaper, and instead of just jacking up the prices for everyone else. Like I don't, you know, like how about we just stop the dumb unions and not have it be.
We should
insane.
outlaw unions. Why didn't I think of that? Outlaw unions.
Yes, get rid of the unions.
Solved.
Have you ever?
We can start paying people
ever,
$3 an hour again.
One of them, we've probably talked about this, but one of the more ridiculous things you'll see around, and I see it when I'm in New York and when I'm in Philadelphia, occasionally are the giant inflatable rats. Have you ever seen those? So this is what I'm telling you. You want to talk about how wasteful and stupid unions are when a company, and actually they did it out in front of they just built a Wegmans near me, which I love. And when it was going up, they must have on some part of the job, hired a non-union outfit because this is what they do. And then they had a team of people with a giant, one-story rat. Yeah, there you go. Something like that. And then they have a team of people sitting around it, getting paid to sit with the rat just so people know that they didn't use a union. This is.
Yep. They did that in Vegas for years at the New Frontier Hotel. There were strikers up and down on the strip in front of the Frontier Hotel for years to protest the non-union workers inside the Frontier Hotel. So I get it. I'm with you. Well, I think we solved most of America's problems this morning.
I think we did.
People, we're just going to get rid of the unions and things will be simple again. Add Dan Andros
Trump,
on
just
X.
chill on it. Just take the wins. Just take the win. You're winning, Trump. It's like you're racking up wins. Don't throw some L's in there. Let's not do it.
We already know Rosie O'Donnell is a fat pig. He doesn't need to remind us anymore. Over on faithwire.com and at cbn.com as well. And thank you, as always, my friend, for your perspective.
See you, Dan.
And keep an eye on Josh Shapiro. You never know what he's going to do next. All right, Dan
20 minutes, let's go.
And that there is 2 hours of audio deliciousness and problem solving known as the Daily MoJo for today, Tuesday, which ironically, there are 2 1s in the date of today. 1-1, 11, 2 1s, Tuesday, good Lord. The year of our Lord 2025. You're welcome. Let's find out if I learned a damn thing during the course of the program, aside from unions suck. Over in the Rumble, by the way, when the Teamsters come knocking, tell them I'm not here. As Original Babe in the Rumble chat room, this is just going to make everything more expensive. Yes. There's not going to be a solution to the problem that we found ourselves in that isn't expensive at the start. It's not going to, there's capitalism. That's where we are. Missy 13, I'm just happy to be alive. Thank you. And more of us should just be grateful that we are breathing air in and out. This constant breathing in and out. Deuce 5, and then after all of this, she added chocolate syrup and ate everything that was in the toilet. A tweet out of context is a delicious thing, is it not? Because he's referring back to the, of course, the woman cleaning the toilet. Let's see, what else over here? Leprechaun continues his strange obsession with fat. Dr. Free Range Prisoner, that union rat has a name. It is known as Scabby. That's kind of what I thought. Union Scabs. Audrey says, have a great day, everybody. Be safe and be kind out there. If you see Rosie O'Donnell, do not call her a fat pig. We already know she is. Fake Zoe, have a great one and stay cool. Jack Holst. It was, was it Better Call Saul? The term jackhole came up. It was Better Call Saul. Pretty sure.
Nice.
I never did show you the double-decker airline seats. Remember the ones that were like you're sitting up above
I've seen
everybody
those.
else?
Yeah, they kind of stagger them.
They're
alternate. Yeah, I've seen that.
Those are real.
They're
That's
cool.
not just a fairy
actually.
tale anymore.
Yeah.
They're coming to a plane. See, that's what it's going to take to make sure that airline passage or airline tickets stay affordable. You're going to be packed into that sucker like sardines.
Yeah.
Freebie38 says, God bless everyone and have a great day. Good thought. Except for the Democrats. And Ron, I'm glad your tubal tying thing went well. As for the rest of you, remember that we the people must hang together, otherwise we shall surely hang separately. 6 separate Tyrannis resist stupid. Good night, Doc Thompson.
Wherever you are. See you tomorrow. Hump day.
Watch and listen at thedailymojo.com.